Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Make Happiness Happen podcast. I'm your host, Shelly, and on today's episode, we're diving into session 3 of our Draw the Circle 40-Day Prayer Challenge. There are some great discussion questions this week, so let's go ahead and dive right in. Hi, I'm Shelly Covert, and I have a question for you. Are you tired of putting on a fake smile and pretending you're happy when you're really not? Are you ready to stop chasing happiness and create it instead? This world we live in makes us believe we need something newer or bigger or better to be happy. But guess what? That's not real happiness. I'm going to teach you what I've learned about creating real, authentic happiness. So if you're ready to stop faking it and be happy for real, you're in the right place. This is the Make Happiness Happen podcast. Congratulations! You've made it to session 3 of our Draw the Circle 40-Day Prayer Challenge. I'm so proud of you for showing up today. You are doing the work, and that's the only way change is going to happen. We're praying like it depends on God and working like it depends on us. So I'm curious, how did this week go for you? I'm going to be totally honest and let you know that I missed a day, and I feel really bad about that. But at the same time, I'm really proud of myself for not stopping. In the past, I would feel like missing a day, failing to be perfect, meant that I had failed or that I was a failure, and I probably would have quit. Thanks to you and this podcast, quitting was not an option this time. I also had the thought that God doesn't expect me to be perfect. What He expects me to do is to keep trying, to keep praying, and to keep moving forward. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm also reading Mark Batterson's book, Do It for a Day, as part of my morning devotions. And this morning was all about not giving up and not quitting. We're creating a habit of prayer, a habit of turning to God when things get tough. And creating a habit isn't easy. There will be times that you feel like you're failing and times you want to quit. But the important thing is that you keep going. So have you ever heard of the phrase, keep your eye on the prize? When you know what you're hoping for once you have this habit created, it makes it easier to keep pushing through the tough times. So don't let this be where you stop. Your goal may seem a long way away, but if you keep putting one foot in front of the other, you will get there sooner or later. Now, part of that is having the correct tools also so that you can reach that new habit and achieve that new habit. And so what I realized is that I need some type of a checklist, something that I can kind of mark off the day that I complete my prayer challenge. So I'm for right now just going to use a simple notebook, and I just wrote down the dates and I wrote down each day of the challenge, like day 1, day 2, day 3, and so on. And I'm just going to cross it off when I complete it. And I'm working on creating maybe a simple tracker in Google or creating a PDF that you can have access to. But for right now, just grab yourself a piece of notebook paper and write down each day and the date so you know when you're supposed to go through each of those days, and then you can cross it off. Okay, so that's going to be how we keep track of this. Now, are you ready to dive into this week's content? Well, in the Draw the Circle study guide, Mark shares the key takeaways for each day. And the takeaways from this past week were the following. One God idea is worth more than 1,000 good ideas. Never underestimate the power of a single prayer. Bold prayers honor God, and God honors bold prayers. We don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. If we do the little things like they are big things, then God will do the big things like they are little things. God can accomplish more in one day than you can in a lifetime. Quit talking to God about your problems and start talking to your problems about God. So I'm curious, which one of those stands out to you? Which one kind of resonates with you? I think for me, it was God can accomplish more in one day than you can in a lifetime. There have been so many times in my life when I felt like things were hopeless, like this was the time I had finally messed up too much. As I look back on those times, I see that they were the times I was closest to God because I didn't feel I had anywhere else to turn. I prayed more, I read the Bible more, and every time God healed my heart and I was able to move on and move forward again. In the day 13 reading, Mark says, if you are going to experience a miracle one day, you need to pray every day. that made me wonder if maybe the challenging times in my life were a result of God wanting to draw me closer to Him. And if I had been closer to Him before those events, if I had been praying every day and reading the Bible every day, maybe God wouldn't have needed to use those challenges. So I'd love for you to take just a couple of minutes and see which of those key points resonate with you. And then kind of think back also over your life. Do you have any experiences or anything that kind of shows you why that resonated with you? The theme for this week is pray hard, and it is all about starting with prayer and having the courage to pray through a situation. It's about having the courage to know when it's time to move from praying to acting. Sometimes we pray for God to do the things that we should actually be doing. We pray for God to change a situation when maybe He's actually using that situation to change us. We pray that God will show us the way to go or guide us or lead us, and maybe He instead wants us to take a step out in faith. A lot of times God is going to ask us to take that first step in faith, even when we can't see the next step. And, we need to have that trust and be willing to do that and be courageous that way. So that's the focus this week. It's praying through. Prayer is hard work, because it is a step of faith, but prayer is also the difference between good ideas and God ideas. I love how Mark says it that way. So we need to be sure that we are praying like it depends on God, but that we are also acting and working like it depends on us. One of the other great quotes from this session is, prayer that doesn't lead to action isn't true prayer, it's self-talk. And I really like that. So we need to be willing to take the action. There are some great discussion questions in the study guide this week, so take some time to work through those and just reflect over those and see which ones resonate with you the most. And then each day this week, read the daily challenge, go through the study guide and answer the questions there. And if you have the journal, the prayer journal as well, take some time to work through that. I will also, in the notes, include the links to the daily videos on Mark's YouTube channel, just like I've been doing in the past. And I'll include the links to the resources in case you still need to get a copy of the book or anything like that. All right, I hope you have a great week, and I hope you spend some time praying hard and praying through. As always, thank you so much for tuning into the Make Happiness Happen podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen to podcasts. And even better, leave a positive review. If you want to dive deeper into the topics and discussions we have here, I would encourage you to head over to makehappinesshappen.com and sign up for my newsletter. It's the best way for us to get to know each other even better. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time on the Make Happiness Happen podcast.